automatically add.
So no, not because it's a built integer, then it's going to be able to add. No. So yes, because integer typically have this add integrated, but again, you are altering here the behavior of the add. So whatever I want to say is that so A is added to B, right?
Uh-huh.
So A actually in this case have 1, and then you are adding B to it. B is 2, right? But he will return 0, so he's altering the behavior of the add.
Correct.
It is true that yes, because it is integer, you're able to add it, but
So it should do 1 plus 2, but since you did 0 over there, that's why the output is also 0.
yes, exactly. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So it means that you are able to alter the behavior of the add just by implementing the add method here.
Okay.
So the same goes to your contains. So if you implement the contains here, so do you need me to open your slides actually, or how should we open one of the codes that you provided to me?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I think the best one is either one from the week 6 is either 100 or 101.
100 or 101. Let me see.
Those are pretty good ones. Mm.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Let me share that. What about now? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
This is the one that you mean, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say that actually I like this code here in the Pacific. Okay. So
Yeah, so I had a few questions based off of this too.
yeah, tell me your questions.
So you see under the class clownfish, there's two definitions, right? And then under there's a definition all the way at the bottom before the print statement and the objects. It says in Pacific. So in that one, it calls for fish and it calls
Swim backwards.
yeah, so it calls for the fish one and it says swim and then swim backwards. But the so swim and swim backwards were in the shark one. So could you explain real quick how that works again too?
Yes. So
Because I see fish is inside of shark, so that's why I guess why it can use those attributes as well.
okay. So in the specific, let me see. So let me see when we run how it. Let me see if it works. So let us put this one aside here.
Because
Okay.
this is the polymorphic one.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Let me see. So I think you are able to see my both screens, or you're only able to see
Just
one.
the code
The
one.
output. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, yeah, but not the output, right?
No, not the output.
Okay. Swing backwards. Let me see here. So he is telling that we are able to swim here. He calls fish on swim. Let me see, and it's looking to Ray. Okay, so so we know first that shark is inherited from fish, right?
Yes.
Okay, and when we inherit something from a base class, so fish is our base class,
Correct.
right? And it have implemented swim as a method, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, a base class all its methods are able to be used and called from any inherited method. So any inherited class. So it means that Shark is able to use all the methods that is here in the fish class, right? But
Correct.
in our case, unless you redefine swim. So when you redefine swim here, you wanted a shark to behave differently from the behavior of fish. So let me see here. I just want to put this thing away. Okay. So I want to notice one thing. The fish have a certain behavior that is done when you call it. So it print whatever type here is swimming. So I mean, it takes the type of this class and print it with the name, right?
Correct.
But we want the inherited one to behave slightly different. So whatever different, then we define here. Okay. I just want you to, do you understand super, how super works?
Yeah, super it calls for the stuff in swim, but you can make changes, but it won't affect fish.
No, super actually it calls this.
Yeah, so but it's like its own thing. It's not going to affect the above thing. It's going to just add on.
Yes, exactly. It will be add on. Yes. So we use super to call the base function. So again, we have a swim here redefined in the shark. When you create an object from the class shark, the first thing that is going to look for before executing, is it swim method is defined inside the shark class or not? If it is not defined, then it will go to the base class and search for a method swim.
Correct.
But in our case, it's already defined swim here in Shark. So it will start to execute the version, the redefined version that is already defined inside its own class. So Shark, where is the Shark object? Is Sammy. So Sammy do have a swim. So when Sammy is passed to in the Pacific, so yes, we know that we are passing a fish. Yes. So shark is actually kind of fish. Okay.
Yes.
And when we call fish, when we call swim on the fish object, internally Python will check fish object is actually something inherited or not. So he will discover that yes, this is it's a shark object that is inherited from fish. Okay. So it will check swim is defined inside shark, or we need to call the base method. So if it is not defined in shark, it will automatically
go to the base. Okay.
it will call the base.
But
Okay.
since it is, so that's the main question was for the second part, the swim backwards one.
The swim backwards. Okay. So the swim backward here is not defined at all in fish, right?
Correct.
So when he call fish, he will just I think you're not talking about shark in this case. You are talking about
so when they call, so fish swim backwards is only in shark, but then when they call fish at the bottom, that's what the main issue, question is.
But again, wait. So we have two objects, one shark and one clownfish.
Correct.
This is a clownfish, right? Which is also inherited from fish, right?
Yes.
Okay. So and it defined its own version from swim backwards. Am I right?
Yes, I see that.
Okay. So when it defined its own version and it is passed here so clownfish is created here as an object and it's named Casey. So Casey is passed here to this specific in the Pacific function. So when it is passed here, so first it will search for swim. It doesn't have swim. No, it doesn't have swim. So it will go to the base class swim and it will execute that. But when it comes to swim backwards, it will look. Does it have a version of it? Yes, it have a version of it. So it will just execute that line.
That makes sense. I see.
Okay. So again, any object that inherits from a base, when you call a method for it, it will search inside its own definitions. It find it, fine. If it doesn't find, we go to the
It goes
base.
back to the base class.
Base, call whatever in the base class.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So
this is one quick question. The in the Pacific, is that a method for the base class?
No, it is just it is just a normal
Own
a normal
definition?
function. No,
Okay.
a normal function in the main program.
As it like in fish.
What do you mean by in fish? I don't get
So
it.
you said it's in the main program. It's not a
Okay,
like
wait, give me a second. I will clarify that. So I think you already know. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So I want to share with you that. Okay. So actually, what happens here? Do you see that line that I added?
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Yes.
So that line actually separate.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, what
So
were you saying?
it separate the function definitions, and it separate the classes definitions above. So we don't execute. So okay, let me see. I put that here above. But it will be still confusing to you. I just want to make a difference. So what I want to say that I I am able to put that up here.
Okay.
Does this make sense to you?
This
So
makes
it
sense.
means that it means that in the Pacific is not part of
I
any
see.
of that classes,
Okay.
because if it is part of the class,
Uh-huh.
you will have to put it this indented. You have to put it
Yeah,
in it
correct.
totally indented. Once it's not indented, it means it's not part
And
of
then
that.
if we wanted to put it in fish, we would have put it in fish. So that makes sense.
Yes, but again, it doesn't make any sense to put it in fish. It
No, I'm
doesn't make
saying that
any sense. But yes, if you
yeah.
wanted, yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
So yes, you can create it inside fish if you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. The way when you put it up there, it did make sense.
Okay. So yeah, yeah, that's how it works. And then let me see what else we can think of now.
If you want, I remember last week we were working on one code. If you wanted, we could finish that as well.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can do that, since this is also a class. But let me see if we can. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Yes.
Okay.
So when is exactly your exam? Just
This Friday on uh 10 9 o'clock at night. It's at nighttime.
wow. Okay. Okay. Do you still do you want me to refresh your mind
Yes, please. I was
about
gonna
the
ask that.
class? Okay. So let me see here. See. Okay. So um, Let me just go fast on that. So we was trying to do a
No
print
problem.
account class,
Yeah.
and you still can remember, right?
Yes, I'm starting to remember. So,
Yes. So we have 1,000 students, and we want to create each one of them. We want to make a print account class for him, so that he's able to print pages. Okay.
right.
And the most thing that we wanted to focus, so that is the class definition. We have a first name, last name, and print ID, and those three of those variables is given to the constructor. Okay.
Okay.
We have credits, and we already create a function for it. We have a constructor, as we said, it's taking three variables, and we was having other methods that does not affect us at the moment, but we
Right.
was focusing on just one function that is
Okay.
related to create the print ID. We
Okay.
wanted to create a print ID that is unique for all the students.
Okay.
Okay, so we created a function as per the requirement here. We created a function that is okay. So we created a function that's called CreateID. That function take part of the student name. It takes first three characters of the first name, first three characters of the last name in a lowercase, and a character one,
Okay.
and then it concatenates them together to be able to make a unique print ID for that specific student.
Okay.
Okay, but as you can imagine, certain people have similar names, or even similar the first three characters can be similar between students. So it means that we need a way to avoid this collusion. This can cause two students to have the same print ID. So he considered here that whatever he created from this method and concatenated, he considered this as a print ID. But he wanted to check that the created print ID does not exist with other students. So we know, okay, he is creating an array. Okay, that array has 1,000 student account inside. Each place inside the array, we will have a print account object for a specific student. Each print account object will have three things that is important to us at the moment: first name, and then last name, and then it will have a print ID. Can you see the red things in my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what I wanted to say here, that the most important thing to us here, that we loop through the array, okay, one by one, and takes the object out and go and check the print ID for that specific student. Is it equal to the one that we newly created or not? So if it is not, this means that we are safe to go. We are able to create a new object and insert it in the array for this new student.
Okay.
Does this make sense, or is
Yes,
confusing?
I remember this now. Yes, I do.
Okay. So if then the bad situation or the worst case scenario here will happen when actually if we are not able to, I mean, if we find a similar print ID, so it means that we still have to do an external job. So it
Okay.
means that the print IDs that we created, we have to increment it
By
by one,
I
and then
see.
we search again.
Okay.
If so, the trick here is that you not only you find and compare the print ID, but to really make the function, or to really make your code able to keep looping in this certain part until it finds something. So
Okay.
that this kind of looping thing is actually can only be done by so you need to mix between two kind of loops, a
Okay.
while loop and a for loop.
Okay.
So when you have an array, always think that I always need a for loop first before you think about anything else. If he need you to go through an array, then the first thing that you need to put on the code, a for loop, and then you start to see what he wanted to go, or what he wanted to check inside the for loop or inside the array. So based on that, you will decide you want to do an if statement or you want to do what. Okay, and then when we, in such a case, when we are talking about a problem that not only so the for loop is able to loop through an array, but it will do it only one time. So we want that kind of for loop to repeat again until a certain condition is satisfied. So I want to keep looping through the array until I find a unique ID, a unique print ID. So only this kind of loops like while is only able to achieve this for me. So because for loop, you can only give it, oh, I want you to loop from 1 to 200, and that's it. Once it finishes, it will exit. It will not repeat again. So, but the while loop, you're able to give it a condition. You can tell it, as long as a unique ID is not found, keep looping.
Okay.
So it will keep looping forever. It will keep looping. Oh, so you put inside the while a for loop. It means that every time the for loop finish, the while loop will check. Oh, did I manage to find a unique ID or not? If not, I will make the for loop run again. But it doesn't make sense that we keep asking this kind of loops to run without using flags. Flags is very important thing in your life as a programmer, not only in this class. In every code I ever run before in my life, flags is very important. It's very important to mark stages in your code. So let me go to coding and enough theoretical part.
Okay.
Okay, this is the print account class that we created. Let me see here. We created the add credits function, and then we started to create the create ID. So, okay. What I wanted to tell you just now that we talked about looping through the array. Actually, let me go here. We created a student account. This student account is a global array. Let me see. So this is a global array that should have objects inside. What type of objects inside? Is a print account objects. So every time we create a print account object from this class, P1, we need to insert it inside the array. Okay, like this line. Can you understand what this line is doing, right?
Yes, it adds it into the array.
Yes. Okay. So it's going to into the array, but the problem is that the print ID that we are giving here, if you look at the constructor that we have, just a fast recap. So it's giving a print ID, but without checking anything. It just insert any ID. Okay. But in our case, we want to regulate. When we created this create ID method or procedure, this is a similar in the Pacific. So you asked me in the Pacific now is part of the class. I telling you no. In the Pacific is not part of any class. It's just a procedure that is called from the normal program, which is let me see here. Git print ID. No, we didn't write. Yeah. Let me see, get print ID. Let me see here. So this definition actually is supposed to even go for some reason the code is not perfectly. So I would say this is your print account. I put it on top. So this function is just called from the normal program. It's not part of the print account.
Okay.
Okay, and let me see here if this is indented properly. Okay, so like I told you here, let us recap. We created account and we created a name, which is we get part of the first name and last name, and then concatenate both together to get a print ID, right? And then we printed that here. So
So now we need to do the next step is to see if there is an instance we need, if there's an instance like where they're the same, then we need to add one to it, right?
yes, exactly. Yes.
Oh.
So okay. So if found, so we created a flag found, and then we said if we found if you found a print ID similar to ours, so we need to increment what we created by 1. So it means that we need to get that here. So when we found a print ID, it means that we need to create we try to create a new unique print ID. How to do that? By getting this code, and so it means that you need to increment here. This one you have to increment it +1, and the name should not be changed. So we should not put here.
Yeah,
we are able to call it. So we created here now a new print ID, but with a count 2.
correct.
Okay, and then we should exit the if statement. So again, I just wanted to tell you here, to be able to test our code that we created, we have first to complete that. So if you didn't find, if you didn't manage to find your print ID inside the array of the account, so this is a student, you are looping through this array, right? Student account that have objects inside, right?
Yeah.
And this is your student account, and here is P1. Okay, and you are checking. So for every account here, you're able to access the print ID.
Yes.
But we need to let me see here. We need to just modify this or even comment it. Let me see. No, we should not comment. So once we I just need to modify this lines 46 and 47. But let me explain to you first. So if we didn't find the print ID, we should
just add it to the array, right?
Yes, we should add it to the array. But we need to pass the first name.
Okay.
We need to pass the last name, and we need to pass the print ID, right?
Correct.
So I would say, yeah, okay. Let me see here. If we pass the way that we are passing it here, so yeah, so we have to close. Okay.
Okay.